Good evening. Welcome to our podcast. It's
Hello.
Thursday and we're back. We're back. It's like
We we've been
the
gone for a
heaven,
while.
right? The heavens opened up and smiled down and said, "World, here is Night Terrors Radio." And it's us. It's Buford and Rob for Night Terrors Radio. How could it be any better? It's like
Right.
God. It's like God reached down with his little finger and went, "Oh, Night
Yeah,
Terrors
there it is.
Radio." It's a little slice of heaven. So I'm coming to you from the East Coast.
And I'm
Buford's,
coming from the Midwest.
yeah, the lovely state of Illinois. How's Illinois today?
It's not lovely. I mean, it's nice out, but it's not a lovely state. It sucks.
No, no.
No.
I visited. I found Chicago pretty wonderful. I like the people that I met when I was in Springfield. You know,
There's good people here. Yeah,
yeah.
without
I
a doubt. Without a doubt.
It's just a little flat for me.
Yeah.
Being from the Northeast where we have hills and mountains.
We've got some hills, but we don't have any mountains. So
Yeah, it was a little weird, like not having like mountains off in the distance, at least in one direction. We kind of have that here. So it was, but I thought Chicago was a fantastic city. I had a blast there. My
I actually
brother,
lived in the East for the first almost 5 years of my life.
yeah.
Yep.
What's
Originally, Burlington, Vermont is where
Oh,
I
okay.
originally was. I was born in Illinois, moved to Vermont, and then moved back to Illinois. So
Yeah, Vermont's just on the other side of the Lake Champlain from New York.
I remember the one thing I remember was the mountains. That was
Yeah,
one of my favorite things about up there. Yeah. No, without a doubt.
yeah. So I just mentioned Lake Champlain, and I don't know how many people know this, but did you know that Lake Champlain in New York has its own like Loch Ness monster?
I did.
Yeah, it's
I've
called
heard of it.
Champ.
Yes.
Called Champ. I would still like to go see Champ. I've not seen Champ yet.
Yeah, we should make a trip.
I feel like
Trip of it.
I feel like Champ probably does not come on command though.
No, probably not.
I feel like if you hang over the side of the boat and go, "Here, Champ, come on,
Here,
Champ, Champy,"
oh, come here.
it's not going to happen. I have a feeling he's just going to be like, "Yeah, whatever. You're an asshole. Go away."
That sounds about right.
So
Well, as you can see, Ash is not with us tonight. He's got the
Ashes,
zombie virus.
yeah, under the weather, or in the weather, with the weather, somewhere. Maybe it's the
Something.
weather. Maybe it's the weather girls. Maybe it's raining men. We don't know.
It might be genital warts. I don't know.
Hang on. I'm going to put 3-1 odds on genital warts. I asked if the anal stretching surgery went wrong.
Yeah.
You never know. With him, anything's possible. But it's great to see you again, my friend.
Yes, you as well.
It feels like forever since we've talked. It feels like forever since we've been on the air, but it hasn't been. It's really only been 3 weeks.
Right.
But, the fun that we have and the stories that we discuss, I think that kind of, I feel I have a great time doing it.
Oh, me as well. And I'm going through a little bit of withdrawal with some with Florida Man. I don't I mean, I haven't heard anything about anything from Florida in a while. This is 3 weeks. So
Let's roll that beautiful bean footage.
let's roll it.
So we've had some great Florida Man stories, recently, but this could be Florida Man of the Year. Okay.
All right.
I know a guy that assaulted his wife with pizza.
That was a pretty good one.
He's up there. I think like he could be, if we had a Mount Rushmore for 2023 Florida Man, guy who assaulted his wife with pizza, kid that used the alligator to shotgun a beer out in the Taco Bell parking lot.
I had mixed feelings on that one.
But I
If it
think
wasn't for the animal abuse, it would have been great.
right. That was my problem, but I think he could still be up there. Like he's like the kind of face that's not facing out. Like on Mount Rushmore, there's that one that's kind of turned.
Right.
So he could be there. He could be in that position. That's not really facing forward. And then there was the lady that thought she was Wonder Woman in the Publix parking lot and was commanding people with her trident. I think she goes up there, and I think Reza Baluchi, R-E-Z Baluchi, Reza. Okay, so here's the story.
All right, here we go.
The headline is Florida man arrested after trying to cross Atlantic in human-powered hamster wheel. A human-powered hamster wheel. A man from Florida who was trying to cross the Atlantic in a human-powered hamster wheel was arrested by the Coast Guard. Reza Baluchi was 70 miles off the coast of Georgia when officers found him during a manifestly unsafe voyage. I don't know what a manifestly unsafe voyage is.
I mean, sounds like he was in a hamster wheel in the ocean, so maybe that's what they mean. I don't know.
It does not sound good. Like if someone said to you, "We're going on a manifestly unsafe voyage," you'd be like, "No, we're not. You might be. I'm not." But yeah, so while Hurricane Franklin was headed directly towards where the guy was. So the Coast Guard said the vessel was afloat as a result of wiring and buoys. Baluchi was arrested August 28th after a bizarre 3-day standoff. 3 days in a
How did he stand off with the Coast Guard for 3 days?
It says at one point, Baluchi, who refused to get off the vessel, displayed 2 knives and threatened to hurt himself.
Okay.
I gotta say, at that point, the Coast Guard probably should have just said, "Bro, you're in a hamster wheel 70 miles off the coast of Florida."
Now we've got a picture of this thing, so you I think it would have been easier than that. They could just pop one of these balloons. Let's check this thing out.
Right, I go for it. Yeah,
this is it right here.
Yeah, it just doesn't seem safe. And
I don't no, I don't know. I mean, like, just pop a couple of those things and let him start to drown. I don't know.
You know what it looks like? It almost, when you go like to Walmart and they have that big bungee cord thing with all the balls in it in the toy department?
It does, yeah.
It almost looks like you could just reach in there and pull one of those out and be like, "Oh, cool. My kids will love this." So
I'm a little impressed with the structure, though. I mean, I couldn't build that.
But would you want to take it from Florida across the Atlantic?
Oh, no, I'm not a moron, but I might take it in a pond.
Okay. I could see that, like,
a little tiny fish pond with, not in Florida, so there's no alligators or crocodiles or whichever one they have down there.
So he also threatened to blow himself up, at which point Coast Guard officers on site contacted the Navy to determine the location of the alleged bomb. Baluchi later told the Coast Guard that there was no bomb. And he said Baluchi told the Coast Guard crew that he was trying to travel to London in his hydropod vessel. Now, here's where the story gets great. Not that the story was bad before, but wait, it gets better. It is not the first time authorities have found Baluchi trying to cross the ocean on a human-powered vessel. In 2014, the Coast Guard found him 70 miles off the coast of Florida in an inflatable bubble during an attempt to run around the Bermuda Triangle.
Oh, that's awesome.
I have found this guy's problem. I don't know if you noticed it or not, but in 2014, he was arrested 70 miles off of Florida. This year, he was arrested 70 miles off of Georgia. Bro's just got to get to 71 miles. Right?
That's all it is, I guess.
I guess if you get like 71 miles, he's golden, right? It's that 70-mile barrier. It's hiding him right now. It's like, he just can't get away from it. But anyway, so he is charged with obstruction of boarding, which I think is some kind of pirate thing. Court filings show he signed the conditions of bond of $250,000.
Wow.
$250,000. Where is dude getting the money to build these contraptions and have $250,000 to bond out?
I don't know.
Apparently, there's money in being crazy. But I think this guy could be the fourth Florida man, Mount Rushmore. I'm convinced.
Yeah, definitely. And if there's that much money involved, I'll go crazy.
And apparently, he could probably build our Mount Rushmore because, like you said, he built this thing. I mean, I'm looking at the picture and it looks pretty sophisticated.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like it's a pretty sound structure.
I mean, he's got welded metal. He's got a cage surrounding him, so no sharks.
No sharks. He's got paddles on it.
Right. It looks like it might have had no one's. That's what it is. It's the Coast Guard. It was the Coast Guard's fault. Everybody knows that.
That must be it.
It was the Coast Guard. So I don't know, but he's right now. He's the fourth head on the 2023 Mount Rushmore of Florida man.
Yeah.
Until someone comes along and dethrones Mr. Reza Bellucci.
Well, you know, it's Florida. I'm sure that somebody will eventually come.
Right about now, there's someone listening to this show in Florida going, hold my beer. Or better yet, let me finish this beer. You can hold the next one.
I've got an even better raft to get around on the ocean.
I'm going to make it 73 miles. Oh, Florida man. Yes, Lee. I agree with you,
Hold
sir.
My beer.
Hold my
Indeed.
beer.
Wow.
So,
all right.
I think tonight, you know, this is kind of a personal one for us, isn't it, tonight?
A little bit, yeah. A little bit.
So,
definitely.
One of the things that has been happening behind the scenes at Night Terrors Radio and horror-fix.com has been...
We have Samantha?
Hey, Sam.
I'm partially here.
You're partially there. Okay.
My screen's frozen.
Yes, okay. It is.
It is. It's very frozen, but we can hear you. So,
well, I got that going for me then.
Yeah, you missed Florida, man.
You did.
I think I'll survive.
I don't know. This one was pretty good.
It was pretty decent.
This one is like the fourth head on the Mount Rushmore of Florida Man 2023. Unless someone comes along and dethrones him. It was pretty good. But I was just getting into the fact how this one is kind of personal for us, this show. Our fearless leader not being here tonight, you know, we wish him well. We love him. We hope that the warts go away. And, you know, don't try and sand them off. That's not how you get rid of them. Take the medicine that the doctors provided. But some things have been going on behind the scenes at Night Terrors Radio and horror-fix. And
yes,
one of the things that's going on is a new streaming service that has come out, brought to you by the mind of Ash Hamilton and Buford P. Hamilton and Samantha and Chanel Hamilton and a little bit from myself and some other contributors. But what it is, it's a streaming service called Scareplex. And it is a location where we, the horror fans, the true crime fans, the paranormal fans, the podcast fans covering all of that, can go and get some amazing content at not just a great price, but an incredible price, a very affordable, you know, shot. And I mean, as we're going through this here, I mean, look at the content that's there. There's some pretty amazing stuff on this. I mean, we have filmmakers from all over the country that have had their films put up on our site. We have some fantastic paranormal stuff going on. We have podcasts, back episodes of our show dating back, 3-4 years. Um, it's just an amazing platform. And I have been kind of on the outside of the platform, but I know you two have kind of been a little bit more involved in the day-to-day stuff. So what can you tell our listening friends, about Scareplex that they need to know?
I mean, the biggest thing about it, it kind of all came from the idea that, the model that we have now for independent creators just doesn't work anymore.
It sucks.
It sucks. It sucks for independent creators. It's great for Hollywood. Hollywood still makes all the money off of everything, and distributors. And I mean, when you look at a lot of the other streaming services out there, even the ones that claim to be independent are not. They're not independent. They're owned by big, giant Hollywood companies.
When you
And
uncover enough layers, you find that
yeah,
they're just
you follow the
another.
money, and it goes back to, Warner Brothers or Sony or any of the big ones. And so it came about by wanting to do something that not only was good for creators and independent filmmakers, but also the audience too. So an audience can see something and see things that they've never seen before, and see a little bit of things that they've seen over and over again. So I mean, that's where it all came from, and without some of that greed. Um, the distributors, if you make a movie and you put a film out there and you go through a distributor, right off the top, they're going to take at least 50%. Most of them. I think there are some exceptions. We're definitely one of the exceptions, but we wanted to combat that greed a little bit and also have something that had some quality entertainment on it, right?
And I think, and here's the thing that I don't think people really understand. It's kind of that what you said. People say, "Oh my gosh, you're an independent filmmaker and your movie's on Prime Video." Well, that's awesome, but I mean, after Amazon takes their cut and the distributor that got you to Amazon takes their cut,
Right.
and
And then on top of that, you might have had a broker that got you a distributor, so then they're going to take their cut.
and before long, you're seeing 10 cents on the dollar if you're
Correct.
lucky. If you're lucky, you're seeing 10 cents on the dollar. And a majority of these independent, filmmakers, they're doing this because they love it. They're not doing this because they think they're going to create the next Grapes of Wrath or
Right.
the next, Jurassic Park. They're doing these films because they love the art of filmmaking. And the money that most of these guys are putting up is money that they earn during their day jobs.
Right.
And Sam, I know you've kind of seen the backside of this because I mean you've been in quite a few independent films, haven't you?
Yeah. 3 now.
Yeah, and so you see it from another point of view as part of the cast of an independent film. You do it because you love it.
Right. Yep.
I'm sure it's not paying your daily bills.
Most of them don't pay anything.
Right. So it's that love of filmmaking, right? It's that love
Right.
of being involved.
Yeah.
And I
My
think
love for horror in general. So
I think when Ash kind of came to all of us individually and said, "Hey, I've got this idea," we all went, "Okay, here it comes. It's going to be like, something absolutely insane." And then when we heard it, we went, "Oh no, this is awesome.
Yeah.
this is the right thing to do."
Well, that's where the whole thing comes from. The whole thing comes from a
sorry.
love of
Holy
filmmakers and a
puppy.
love of yeah. Hi, puppy. You know
They
that, but
crash everything.
it's a love for all of it. That's where the idea originated from. That's where it came from.
Right.
It
And
came from that place.
it's how many independent filmmakers have we spoken to on Night Terrors,
Right.
right? And then even before, when it was Parafactor many moons ago. And it just breaks my heart because like we've had one of my favorite independent movies that I saw, other than a couple of the ones that we saw on before going into, was a filmmaker, Adam Steiger. He's from Buffalo, New York.
Yep.
And Adam has made a bunch of movies, and I watched one of his movies. It was called Ombus. I loved it from beginning to end. I thoroughly enjoyed that movie. And other than someone who accidentally stumbles upon it on his YouTube channel, or people from Buffalo, New York, it's probably not really going to get the vision that it deserves to get in the public. It's just like Holes in the Sky. Ash is winning all these awards, for an incredible movie, but it needs to be seen by a bigger audience.
Yep.
And that's what I think these independent filmmakers really want. They just want their stuff to be seen.
No, I agree completely. Yeah. And I mean, that's one of the really great things about this site, is that we've got these independent creators on there. I mean, with us right now, Chase and Shep, their podcast is going to be on there pretty soon. They're going to have some features on there, some shorts even on there. So we're excited for them to join. But we've already got people. We just last week, a bunch of movies. A guy named Michael Butts. It's some great stuff. It's on there to watch right now, and I mean, I've enjoyed it, everything that I've watched from it.
So you said that Chase and Shep, they're going to have their shorts on there.
Correct.
Are they pre-worn shorts? Is this like one of those weird, like?
Well, that's something that makes us different as well, is that we do actually have shorts. We have film shorts on there, and not just feature films, not just TV series. I got it.
I know, but I love the fact that you just were like, I'm not even playing this game. All right. I know Sammy misses part, but I was telling Buford in the beginning, I miss you guys. Like, if I don't see you guys like every other Thursday, I'm like, this sucks. I'm not going to see my friends every other,
Yeah, I usually blow up Steven's messages. I'm like, what about our podcast? We need to have a podcast.
So it's awesome that we can joke around, but still, get the point across. And you're right. Like, so I was talking to you about this before the show, man. And I grew up in Northwest New Jersey, and we used to get this television station before cable. I know, kids, there used to be like, you used to have to get up and actually turn the dial.
Yep.
And then if it was
on my black and white TV,
if it was a UHF station, remember, you had to turn it to the UHF, and then you had another dial that you had to turn, and it was like really finicky. Like if it was channel 31 and you were like at 30.5 or 31.5, it didn't work. You had to be right on 31. So
this is how TVs used to work, Sam.
I'm not along.
And so anyway, there used to be this midnight on Saturday nights, WPIX out of New York City used to run Chiller Theater. And it had Chiller spelled out in like these old crumbling letters, and then a hand would burst up out of the ground, and this hand would be like all claymation, but it was terrible claymation. But it was claymation hand going like this. And there was this voice that would just go, Chiller, Chiller. And like, then they would play these totally obscure black and white movies from the 60s and the 50s. I'm going through the Scareplex catalog, and when I find one that I remember from when I was like 10 years old.
Yep.
So like a million years ago. But
one of my favorite movies ever is on there. It's called it's an old Roger Corman film called Bucket of Blood.
Oh,
And it was one of the first movies we put on there.
I have not seen that in years, so I'm glad that you said that, because I will search that one out. But I'm also enjoying. There's been a couple of paranormal things on there that I'm really enjoying. As you know, my background being the paranormal and that kind of thing, and being involved in that, having a place for content like that too.
Right. No, we've got a podcast, a great paranormal podcast. I mean, we've got a couple. Rick Hale and Stephen Lancaster have their Shadow Initiative podcast on there.
I love it.
They've also got some documentaries, which is we've got a few of their documentaries on there, Monster Vision, which they're great.
Have y'all seen Demons yet?
No, I have not.
Oh my God, that was so good. I'm glad that's on there.
Demons is good. It's a classic Italian horror.
My problem is that like what happens is like I start searching through and I'm going through all the titles, and then I see a picture in black and white, and I'm like, I gotta watch that one.
There's so many to choose from.
And that's what's killing me is like, so I don't know who isn't signed up for Scareplex yet. I don't know why you're not signed up for Scareplex yet. I don't want this to be, this is not a commercial for Scareplex. It really is not. What this is just us trying to get the horror fans out there a new place, a new hangout. You have horror-fix.com, right? You have Night Terrors Radio. You have monroeghost.com for the stuff on the East Coast with me. You have all of our paranormal stuff. All that kind of stuff is on Monroe Ghost. What you don't have is a place to go to watch all these independent movies and to see all these cool podcasts, all these cool shows that frankly just aren't getting seen by enough people.
Right. And I mean, we've got, it's more than just horror too. We've got sci-fi, fantasy, soon to have some true crime getting added. EJ Hammond has a documentary that's going to be a documentary series that's going to be on there. I'm super excited about that.
EJ co-hosted with us for quite a while on Night Terrors Radio. She is one of the most knowledgeable people on Ted Bundy and serial killers, but mostly Bundy. She's a huge Bundy file. I'm really looking forward to, seeing what she puts together, because I'm sure it's going to be worth every minute of wait.
Oh, without a doubt. Yeah, I'm excited about it.
So, again, I want people that are listening to this to understand that we love this stuff. I know it sounds silly. We are sitting here on a Thursday night. Okay. I'm sure we all have work tomorrow. And here we are talking about, horror movies, sci-fi, fantasy, true crime, whatever. We do it because we enjoy each other's company and we have a good time with it. But second, because it's something that's ingrained in all of us, right? I mean, do you remember the first horror movie that you saw, Sam?
Chucky.
Okay.
Child's Play?
Child's Play?
Yes.
That was your first one?
Yep, I was so scarred because my grandma had the Chucky doll in a little glass box above my bed.
Oh, great.
With a black light, and my uncle put real knives in his pocket. It was traumatizing. Well, but I developed a love for it too, so it's kind of weird.
And your therapist is making out great.
I think a lot of us think a lot of us start with the trauma, though. We start with that trauma, because mine was Poltergeist. I don't remember how old I was. I saw that. And so here's a little bit. We used to live in this old farmhouse, 2-level farmhouse, and in the winters there was a wood stove, but there wasn't really a lot of heat. So in the winters, a lot of times we'd sleep on the floor in my parents' bedroom. And I'd seen Poltergeist, and the scene where the clown pulls the kid underneath the bed.
Oh no.
And then I had to go home and sleep and stare underneath the bed and just awake all night, just waiting for a clown to appear and pull me under. But then I came to love everything about horror.
See, now my first horror experiences are kind of weird. Like I said, I grew up near New York City, and like we had this channel 11 channel PIX that would play these chiller movies, and as a kid they were terrifying to a 10-year-old kid. Right now I look at them and it's like, wow, these are really campy, but they're great.
Yeah.
They're fun. So my real indoctrination into horror, I went to Camp Nobe Bosco, and that is in North Bergen County, and that's why it's called Nobe Bos, North Bergen County. That's why it's called that, in New Jersey. And the camp that I went to, this camp was where they filmed the original Friday the 13th. It was filmed in Blairstown, New Jersey. And my older brother was 10 years older than me. And he volunteered to, kind of ride me up to camp, the next time I'm going up there. And he asked me if I'd heard about the movie and this and that and everything. And of course I did, everybody had heard about it at that point. And he goes, "It's a true story." So here I am getting ready to go to sleepaway camp for 4 weeks, like a mile away from the camp. My brother busts out, "It's a true story."
Yeah. You never know.
Sounds like a brother.
So that was kind of like my indoctrination to that. Oh my God, I have to look under the bed, or the little doll. Mine was, I'm about to go get killed. I'm going to go lay in a bed and someone's going to shove an arrow through my neck, just like Kevin Bacon.
Oh, no. Yeah, my uncle, we used to have like a glass wall at my grandma's house, and my uncle came up on the glass wall behind my bedroom, and he was just staring against it with a scream mask.
Oh, great.
So my family likes to traumatize me with horror movies.
Yeah. But see, that's the thing. Like, I think we all have that weird bond. I think when you really get into like people that like this kind of thing, we like that is it or isn't it feeling, that weird kind of like, it makes you think like, okay, what's behind that door?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why did that door just move? I know the windows are open and it could have been a draft, but was it a draft?
That instinct.
It's also, it's also a way of facing your fears, and I think that's something it's healthy for us to do and good for us to do, is to face our fears, and horror fans do it on a regular basis, sometimes daily.
And there's nothing wrong with having a good time facing your fears.
Correct.
Nothing at all. I mean, there are people, I've met people in the past that like, I'll be wearing like a t-shirt, and it'll be, I have my Child's Play t-shirt, and they're like, "How could you watch that movie where a child's toy comes alive and kills people?" I'm like, I don't know, I thought it was pretty good. Like I can't answer that question, I guess, because I found it pretty easy to watch. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, no, it's a good one.
It's like I think it all goes back to, again, we enjoy this kind of stuff because it gives us that feeling of being alive.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So now let's look at the segue. Watch this professional segue. You ready? So we watch it to get that joy of feeling alive. The filmmakers are making it because that gives them that joy of feeling. Look at that. Did you see that?
Oh yeah, it's beautiful.
Smooth. That's very smooth.
That was like, the marble just kind of spun right there on the axis. But it really is that, and to have a place for independent filmmaking, there really isn't one, because true independent filmmaking it's gone, I think, in a lot of places. Thank you, Lee. Lee smells what I'm stepping in. He loved that transition. That's why I get paid the big bucks. I get a Fresca every show. That's my green room argument. I held out. Ash tried to get me diet spray. I said no. It's Fresca, or I don't go on.
And we're not sponsored by either, but if
No.
we would be,
right,
we'd be okay with it.
We cannot be bought, but we can be rented.
Hit.
Yes.
Right. Again, let me say that again. We cannot be bought, but we can be rented. Absolutely. I believe that if the right check came across my table, I could probably tattoo Fresca on my forehead just to make sure that we get the advertising.
That might look kind of badass.
It might. I mean, Post Malone tattoos whatever the fuck he wants on his face, so who knows?
We'll just be walking billboards.
So
I almost put the Scareplex sticker on my cheek. just for the show, like, hey.
Missed opportunity.
Yes.
Next show. But here's the thing, guys. We joke and we laugh, and we talked a little bit about the monetary part of it, but if Ash was on, he would tell you that making Holes in the Sky was a kind of a cathartic thing for him. He had this vision and he completed it, and he got a bunch of people to see it. He's won more awards than any other found footage film in the history of the business, right? Why isn't that film on big screens across the country? Because it was the independent filmmaker.
Yeah. But that's why we started Scareplex, is to make sure that films
the little
get
people get
out
recognized.
there. They may be on the smaller screen, but we're going to get them out there, and that's the whole point of it. That's
Right.
another thing that when it comes to distributors, there's a big difference between distributing and marketing. And distributors might say that they market, but they really don't. They just distribute. They get you on Tubi or Prime Video, but they're not out there promoting your film, your podcast.
Right.
And that's one of the things that we really wanted to do as a company, is that we wanted to actually promote these independent filmmakers, these independent creators as well, and make sure that we got the word out there and tried to, build their audience and nurture that love for what they do.
And these people have stories to tell. There are definite stories to tell in the movies that are out there, and some of them are absolutely fantastic stories, and they just need a voice. They just need a place where people can go see it. And I think Scareplex it's going to take off. I have no fear about that. I know that we are going to put content on there that people are proud of, that filmmakers are proud to have out there, that we are proud to put
Demons. I just can't get over how good it was. I never would have found it if it weren't for Scareplex.
So, and there you go. That's okay. There's 3 of us on this thing right now. Okay. 3 of us hosting this show. I will tell you that I never would have looked at, there's a paranormal thing on there. They're half-hour things called Encounters.
Encounters, Bill Howard.
Yeah. Love it. Love it. Never would have seen it if it was not on Scareplex. Never would have come across my radar. And now I'm a fan. Now I can't wait. When I do have spare time, it's one of the first things I put on is the next episode. Yep. And Sam, you've said demons a couple times. That here we are. Just the 3 of us. And I'm sure you've got one too, man.
Oh, there's so much stuff on there. I mean, I sit and try to find some stuff, and just because a lot of it, most of it's stuff that I've never seen. So I just pick and choose, and then occasionally there's also, there's some old favorites on there. There's an old sci-fi fantasy movie called Slipstream with Mark Hamill and Bill Paxton. It's one of my favorites, and it's on there, so I get to watch it now.
Okay. See,
there's another one to add to you.
Right. Because I get hung up, like, All right, I'm an idiot. When there's something that has like 10 episodes, I have to watch all 10
Yeah.
episodes. I
Yeah.
cannot
Oh
watch
yeah.
anything else until I've watched those 10 episodes. So I still have, I think, 3 more episodes of Encounters that I have to get through.
To
And
finish
it's
off.
not, and I please don't, I didn't mean it that way, that I have to get through. That came out sounding poorly, that I want to get through.
Right.
Because I'm enjoying it. And I don't mean it like, please don't take it as I'm having to get through it. That's not the case at all. It's I've started watching them and I'm enjoying them. So now I want to see what's next. And then here's the other problem. I call it the Star Wars problem. Growing up as a child, because I am so much older than most people that are with us, I used to have to wait 3 years between Star Wars movies. Like I saw the original Star Wars and then had to wait 3 years.
Right.
3 years for Empire.
So my very first movie memory ever, and I was very young, but the very first thing I ever remember in a movie theater was the original Star Wars. That's what I saw, and then Empire Strikes Back, and then I had to wait and wait and wait, and I got Return of the Jedi.
Right. It's so like when those when the Encounters episodes are over, I'm gonna be like, oh,
What's next? I need
yeah,
something else.
I just watched them all. I ate the last cookie and there's no more cookies. Now what do I do? So I'm gonna need that, jump in thing. I love telling the story about how I saw Star Wars. Again, growing up in a very small town, we had a movie theater on the hill that had 3 screens. Whoa, 3 whole screens. This was back in the, like 1977. So that was considered like a huge movie theater. Like, who needs that many screens? What are these people doing? They're crazy. My friend and I had gone to see Smokey and the Bandit. It actually came out the week before Star Wars. And when we got there, Smokey and the Bandit was sold out. I didn't want to call my mom and have my mom come back and get us. We were 11 years old, dropped off at the movie theater. And my buddy that was with me, this guy, Ace Whitworth, Ace goes, I don't know, let's see what other movie's starting soon. Star Wars was starting like 10 minutes later. So we're like, let's go see that. There were 4 of us in the movie theater. The first time I saw Star Wars, there were 4 people in the movie theater.
That's crazy.
And then like I got out of the movie theater and I called my mom, like, Mom, could you bring us some more money? Because we want to see the same movie that we just saw again. And they absolutely said no. Because why would you want to see the same movie that you just saw again? And then like a month later, there were lines around every building that was showing Star Wars, people waiting 6-7 hours to get in to see it. But like, so I'm sorry to go off on those tangents, but that's like that's why movies mean so much to me. It's so much of my growing up was, like the weird tie-ins to all these different things that, okay, Blair Witch. Do you remember when Blair Witch was being advertised and there was that whole, is this real? Like,
Yeah.
Did this really happen feeling? Like, and then you saw it, and at first you were kind of like, oh, hey, all right, is it a movie or is it,
They couldn't show this if it was real, right?
Right.
What does found footage mean? Does it mean that it actually happened?
Yeah. I mean, like, think about those moments in our lives that are tied to those movies. And now think about, what we have for all these other independent filmmakers. Chances for someone to see Demons for the first time and go, dude, I remember the first time I saw that movie. Right?
Yeah.
And it's an incredible thing. And, we at horror-fix.com have been trying to bring you horror and sci-fi and comics and movie reviews and book reviews and the latest up and coming television show type things and podcasts, and we've been doing it for years trying to bring this out. And I think this finally gives us the platform to really reach a bunch of people and to really get the independent filmmakers some love and some recognition, you know. And I don't mean the independent filmmaker that has, oh, haha.
There it is, Sam.
Can you bring up
Frozen again.
Can you bring up one of the encounters?
I can. Yep.
Because this is, I'm telling you, anybody that's listening within the sound of my voice needs to get on Scareplex. If you like paranormal stuff, you need to watch these. These are really very interesting, very fascinating stories.
No, they are. It's incredible. Oh wait, you haven't seen this one yet, have you?
The last. See, right there is hooked me. I'm just like watching that the first time, and I saw that creepy old
These are
windmill.
the complete interviews with the subjects for the documentary Encounters. The only editing performed on the footage are camera cuts, sound correction, and minor color corrections.
His voice is perfect for that.
Oh, without a doubt.
That's his voice?
Yeah, that's
Wow.
the guy that you know, made the series. That's his voice. So it, and like, so, you know, that whole, you know, what you're about to see is true. You know, it's got
Yeah.
that. All right, I'm in, I'm ready. So, you know, and one of the other things too about, and I hate to keep harping on this, you know, with the independent filmmakers is, man, but they're doing this out of their own pockets. Most of these guys and girls, they are working a 9 to 5, and then they're taking whatever few extra pennies they have, and they're not taking their kids to Disney World, or they're not, you know, doing anything like that because, not because they don't want to, but because, you know, they've got this movie idea and they want to get it out. And then they take their kids to Disney World after they get the movie idea out, you know, and these are not just, these are families that are making these sacrifices, because a lot of these independent filmmakers would not be able to do what they did without their husbands, wives, boyfriends, girlfriends, loved ones, mothers, fathers, you know, supporting them in their vision. And to have, you know, an opportunity for their movie to get seen, you know, maybe not.
Well, let's get this thing.
Uh-oh, what happened?
Nothing. I muted it for a second.
Oh,
We're
okay.
still talking, so
No, I just was going to say, you know, this is an opportunity for, you know, people that, okay, you know, they make an independent movie in Buffalo, New York. Well, this is an opportunity for folks in, you know, San Jose, California, to see an independent movie from Buffalo, New York, that they might not ever, you know, come across their radar. You
we've
know,
got filmmakers and creators from all over the country.
right. Don't we have some stuff from like overseas too, coming through?
I mean, aside from the Italian horror stuff, I don't think we do yet.
Okay.
We're still working on some stuff though, so I mean, it's possible that eventually that will happen.
Because I know Ash was telling me that there was, maybe that's what he was saying, was he's got some of the old Italian horror movies on there.
Yeah, we do. We've got quite a few of those. And then yeah, I mean, other stuff. We're constantly talking to filmmakers, to creators, you know, to anybody that might want to have their stuff on here.
And right now, correct me if I'm wrong, because you know more about this, man, but we're like the second largest archive of horror film for a streaming service, right?
Correct. Yeah. Yeah.
So
with the amount of movies that we've got on there.
Right. We have the second highest number of horror or content, because there's more than just horror, but the second highest amount of content, you know, for streaming services out there.
Yep.
So this is all, It's all good. It's all good for the horror fan. It's all good for the horror filmmaker. It's all good for the paranormal fan, for the paranormal filmmaker. It's all good for the sci-fi fan and the sci-fi filmmaker. There's no downside to this at all.
No, and we're adding new stuff every Thursday. I mean, just tonight at midnight there'll be a new podcast on there, Hot Death Horror, and it's a
Oh, that sounds
horror
cool.
podcast. Yeah, no, it's a good podcast. So
I'm looking forward to checking out Chase and Shep, because they've been kind of commenting tonight, and and I'm looking forward to giving them some love on the site.
oh yeah, they've got some cool stuff coming.
And I'm looking forward to just being able to enjoy what's out there and see something different that I may have never seen before or heard of before. That's where you find cool new things.
Right.
We forget that.
Well, that's how we used to do it when we were kids, Rob. I mean, we used to find people, and then somebody would like, hey, introduce you to this and that, and
And-
hey, have you seen this movie yet, or have you heard this band yet?
And me.
Yeah.
I'm not that young.
Okay.
But you're right. I mean, I remember tape trading. I don't know
Oh
if
yeah.
I remember like cassette tapes. It'd be like Metallica. Like, have you heard Metallica Ride the Lightning? No. Who
One
is
of my
this?
first was a Kiss. It was Hotter Than Hell. Kiss.
Yep. I was.
And I got told to take it back.
Dude, I was so Kiss Army when I was a kid, because
Oh, me too.
I had the picture over my bed of Ace Frehley with the smoking guitar, right over my bed. Like, my mom.
Paul was
couldn't-
always my favorite. I
Yeah.
was a star child.
Yeah. Man, it's like I asked Ash, how the hell do we get Phantom of the Park,
Oh yeah.
the Kiss
I'd love
movie?
to have that.
That would be amazing, because I'd
It
watch
would
it
be
every day.
awesome.
I would
I
watch
would.
it every
All
day.
the time.
But like, but we used to. I mean, I remember like going into like movie rental places, and the guy behind the counter or the girl behind the counter was like, if you went to the same one enough, they would see you come in and go, "Oh, I got one for you. You've got to check out this one." And it was like that underground feel of like, oh, okay, this one's going to be good, huh? Or I don't know if you remember that or not, part, but I do, because we had one
Oh.
video store in my town.
I was at the video store when I was younger every single night, because I was always finding new movies to watch. Not just horror, everything, but like
Yeah.
I mean, it was just one of those things where that's what I would do. I would go up. I actually, when I was a teenager in high school, I went up and I was in a pretty good relationship with the local video store. I won't say who it was. Of course, they're gone. But and I'm asking one time, I'm like, how much do I spend up here on a regular basis? And well, so far this year, you spent $1,036 as a teenager in high school. I had spent that much money in like half a year. So,
But that goes back to that whole love of film, that escapism that film and movies provide. It's that.
just more of the stuff you can see on Scareplex. It does, though. You're right, Rob.
It's that I don't know, hour and 45-minute vacation from life.
Yes.
If life is kicking your ass, and for me growing up, I had Mr. Mom. Like, I just found that movie really funny. And like going through like this really tough time in my life, I must have rented Mr. Mom like 15 times. I probably could have bought the tape, for the amount of times that I rented it. But it was just that little vacation from life, for me to get my head back together. And I think that's what, film and these podcasts and all that, that's what they give us, is that little headspace, that, check your head kind of area.
No, without a doubt. And I mean, that's one of the reasons that we're doing what we're doing. that's one of the many reasons behind Scareplex is that love of film, that love of independent creators.
And I think that you know, the fans of horror-fix.com and you know, the fans of Night Terrors Radio, you guys need to check out Scareplex. It's available. You know, it's available through the Apple Play Store, right?
Yeah,
It's
not yet,
not yet. Oh, that's right. You have to.
It's available through the Android store. Apple Play, there's a workaround where you can get it on your Apple iPad or iPhone.
Right, that's what it was. You put it in scareplex.com, and then you're able
Correct.
to have it be on your home screen on your
Correct.
iPhone or iPad.
And we're always working on new stuff and new ways to be able to get to see it. We're working on getting it on all platforms. But yeah, it's, you know, I mean, you can go on there, you can sign up for a free membership. There's a basic membership that has some extra stuff on it. And it's, you know, it's $3.95 a month, less than $4 a month.
Right, and you're paying double that or more for other subscription services.
Netflix, their horse selection sucks, and you pay $22 a month for that. So
right, so for $4 a month, you open up the door to a whole bunch of other things. Right. And you know, and the best part I think about what we're trying to do with Scareplex is most of that $4 a month is going back to the creator.
Yes. Yeah, no, that's a big part of it as well, is getting creators paid. You know, we're taking enough to keep the doors open and to keep things running, but there's no reason for us to you know, take all the money. I mean, as it's, I think we touched on it earlier. I think the average for a filmmaker creator, the return on their film is about 8 to 12%.
Yeah.
So, which is ridiculous. I mean, they slaved, they did all everything, and then they only get 12% of what comes back on it. Somebody gets quite a bit more money.
All right, so here we are. We are approaching, you know, the top of the hour, the fastest hour
on the internet.
I just looked at the time and it says 58 minutes. I'm like, we have not been on for 58 minutes.
No.
But apparently we have been. I'm going to tell you right now, my pick on Scareplex, Encounters. It is, you have to watch it if you are a paranormal fan at all. This is a really great thing. You know, it's out there. It's done very well, as we, you know, kind of showed in the beginning. There's no editing to it. This is the people telling their stories. It's pretty amazing. So that's my pick, Encounters. Sam, what do you got for
You already know mine.
Demons, right?
Is it Demons?
It's Demons.
I wasn't sure.
I think I heard that from someone that you liked that movie, but I wasn't sure.
It's the effects. It's crazy. I never would have guessed that they had effects like that at that time frame.
So Sam's pick is Demons. What do you got for us, man?
Oh, I'm going to say go check out Cosmic Blast. It's kind of a blast. It's an independent filmmaker, Michael Butt, and check that one out. The other one that I've really enjoyed was Winifred Meeks. Was a really good one. I've watched
Chase. You got to do a movie review of me.
Yep, and I'm totally up for a Chase Scenes Sunday Night Screams for Bucket of Blood. That'd be great.
Yeah, that would be good too. Okay. All right. So here we are, top of the hour, fastest hour on the internet. I've missed you guys. I'm really happy that we got to hang out for an hour tonight.
Oh, without a doubt.
I hope we had some laughs. I hope we had a good time. I had a good time.
Definitely.
You know, Florida man is really going to have to up his game if we're going to get, you know, past the human hamster wheel trying to go from Florida to London. I don't know. And the 3-day standoff with the Coast Guard, man, we still didn't really dive into that part.
No, we didn't. Yeah.
I mean, we saw the hamster wheel. how could you hold off a Coast Guard ship?
There's some kind of talent there. That guy's got
Skill.
something. I don't know.
Yeah,
Skill.
that dude has it. So we
It's
might
a
need to
skill.
try. Let's see if we can get him on the show.
Yeah, we should do that interview.
It
Find
can't-
out a little bit more about where he came from.
right. Chances
All
are,
Gainesville, Florida.
chances are, someone scared the shit out of him in his past, and he was just trying to get to London to get away from it.
Probably.
So, listen. Thank you so much, guys, for brightening up my night.
It's been great.
This Rob with MonroeGhost.com, horror-fix.com, Night Terrors Radio on Facebook, and all your other fun stuff. Not to mention, now we've got Scareplex.
Check
So,
out Scareplex.
thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate it.
Have a good night, everybody.
Thanks for tuning in. See you.